The BBC put out a 3-part series by Steve McQueen. And not that Steve McQueen, but this one. And it's about the New Cross fire and the aftermath.
Here in what was once the home of a black family, racists were responsible for a fire which engulfed this house during a birthday party on January the 18th.
There's no excuse, though, for somebody making a documentary to buy into that fantasy.
Which means someone is telling porkies.
You're crazy. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I?
The first episode of a 3-part documentary by Steve McQueen, the director of The Small Axe, was aired on Monday on BBC. And it recollected the events of the New Cross fire that happened in 1981 in London.
13 young black people lost their lives and 26 more physically and mentally maimed
while celebrating a birthday party.
2 girls, Yvonne Ruddock and Angela Jackson, were having a joint 16th birthday party at Yvonne's house.
And due to the racial tension at the time, there's a claim that the fire was started by a smoke bomb or some form of arson attack.
The police received a complaint about the noise coming from the house and initially thought that someone threw a firebomb into the house in revenge for the loud music.
Which then led on to the protest and what followed.
Out of these meetings, the National Black People's Day of Action was called and organised for Monday, March 2nd.
As it is deemed that the police did very little to investigate the situation and the media skewed the narrative.
The police theories about the fire have been unconvincing and, as usual, were backed up by the British media. They treated the massacre as a minor fire incident, supporting the police story that there is no racist connection. No one has been arrested for this crime.
As the police say, there's insufficient evidence to prove what actually started the fire.
Like the first inquest, an open verdict was delivered because there was no evidence to show who had actually started the fire.
So therefore it's impossible to claim that it was an arson attack or that the attack was actually racially motivated.
Angela, the surviving birthday girl, said that her and 5 others saw a white car fitting the description of a white Austin princess parked outside of the house and then subsequently driving away as soon as the fire started.
Which leaves us with 2 versions of an event. Now, which one is the truth?
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth!
Now, do you accept this account?
We know precisely what happened that morning. 2 girls spilt some nail varnish on the carpet, and in a desperate effort to clean it up, they poured paint thinner all over the carpet. Later on, an armchair caught fire, either through a dropped cigarette or perhaps done deliberately as a revenge for some slight altercation. Perhaps done deliberately as a revenge for some slight altercation. And of course the paint thinner helped the fire to take hold.
Which would mean that the protest and the aftermath was based on a lie, or do you go with the narrative set by the black people?
My grandma believes, and I think a lot of people who either survivors or parents of survivors who just grew around that area knew it wasn't an accident. There's definitely a feeling that in this particular instance it extended to someone committing arson.
Which is, to be fair, somewhat ambiguous, but is supported by actions from, let's say, the National Front and the climate at the time.
The far-right white supremacist group, the National Front, were very active in this area.
So when black people first came down this way, they were received very hostile. Black people were burnt out their houses regularly. They poured petrol through the letterbox, put dogs' faces through the letterbox, anything so you didn't take up a flat that should belong to a family that already lived here. And so when New Cross happened, the idea that it was arson wasn't thought up by some whim. This was the experience of people who'd come and tried to settle in this community for years prior to it.
And also the actions taken by the police.
The police, while they were still trying to frame some of those young people who were at the party and blame them, accuse them of starting the fire, they were also running around Brixton picking up young people indiscriminately.
Ring any bells?
Now, there is a bit of a spanner in the works for the claims of it was a racist attack. And it's all due to the words of this man.
I've always said it's not a racist attack. Everything around it was racist, but the attack itself.
I've worked with the police, worked with the police, worked with the police. The fire was started in the basement by a naked flame.
Now for me, this has red flag written all over it.
So when you know see red flag, leave them alone.
As the one survivor at 56 is the one that's adamant that it wasn't a racist attack.
I've always said it's not a racist attack.
As he recalls being there at the time,
kingdom rise and kingdom fall, and then all of a sudden you start smelling, is that the amplifier burning? All of a sudden I just start seeing more and more smoke coming out, and I just turned around and ran back upstairs and started shouting fire. There's probably about 80 people left in this house and nobody ain't taking no notice. Next thing I know, the fire's coming up the stairs. We're trapped. And I remember doing this. And it felt like I had grit or sand on my face. But that was my skin that I was rubbing off my face where it was so hot.
I thought I was gonna die in there, Bill.
How'd you get out?
Just makes me wonder, right? Enough for him started? But that's just my speculation, that is.
We've seen that too.
But it's more likely that he's just another one of those and will say anything and do anything to either appease, or he's got some kind of charge on him and he's trying to break a case or something like that from back in the day.
Please sign to verify this is everything you've ever said.
But he's not unpopular, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you only need one, just the one, you only need one, right, to go against the grain, bring down the whole ship, if you know what I'm saying.
I got this rat, this gnawing, key-eating and it brings up questions.
But that's my speculation, and the truth is, I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened.
There's a vast ocean of shit that you people don't know shit about.
As it is plausible that the fire could have started internally by an accident, someone putting out a cigarette or something like that. And it's also plausible that it was a racist arson attack due to the climate at the time, and it's not something that was unheard of.
The rumour at the time, which was discredited almost immediately, was that a white racist had thrown a petrol bomb through the window.
Sucks, don't it? The moment you realise you don't know shit.
Which leads me to say that as for black people, we need to start making solid accounts of discrimination that we face, because it only takes one indiscretion, one minute detail to be inaccurate, and it gives them folks an out, right, in which they can then go on to claim that
the defense is wrong.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Which does give them a reason to deny any claim that we've made, and technically or basically just call us liars.
I think that we're all getting off track.
He's lied 4 times. This boy definitely lying.
In which they can control the narrative and make up any cockamamie story they want to justify their position based on the notion that, well, they were wrong about that, so they must be wrong about this too. You know what I'm saying?
But I have to say I was shocked at the way that the story of a terrible event was twisted to fit in with a certain agenda.
And that's when the phrase, "On some I'm white and I say so," comes into play. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say on this particular subject for today. And let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.
Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes.